All right, so here we are at the finish of this year's Baja 1000. I'm gonna give you guys the lowdown on how things went for the Bomb Squad Polaris Factory Razor Racing Team. So we had months of planning coming into this event. Basically, right after the Baja 500, we started working on preparation for the Baja 1000 and just making sure that we were fully prepared for this. I also, being that this race was 1,134 miles, I knew it was going to be a really long race. We expected it to be about 27 hours. So I brought in Jason Luberg to split the driving duties with me. And then I had Donnie Powers as my co-driver, and another good friend of mine, Nick Nelson, who's been down to Baja quite a bit, was co-driving for Jason Luberg. So felt real strong about our combination we had. Thought we had strong drivers, really good co-drivers that knew how to work on the car and also knew Baja. Started working our way through the pack right away. Got quite a few cars in the first 30 miles even into Ojos. We were within under 2 minutes in adjusted time of the leader, which is exactly where I wanted to be, especially being that we were working through more slower cars and they had actually started up front. So came down the goat trail and we're getting ready to hop on the highway and the flaggers are screaming at us, fire, fire, fire. So my co-driver and I, we bail out of the car. We had a bag in the back that just had a tow strap and a couple other miscellaneous things, and somehow that bag ripped open and those things ended up, instead of falling out the back of the car, they wound up going on top of the turbo and the whole thing went up in flames. It melted all the wiring harness to our radiator fan as well as in a couple other areas, which led to us having kind of problems throughout the whole race with the car, sometimes overheating, and we'd be able to, it worked for a while, then it wouldn't, and just, it was an ongoing struggle that we kind of battled with the rest of the race. From there though, once we got going, started working through the pack again, actually felt like we could still have a pretty decent finish with an hour, hour and a half of downtime. Everything was going pretty well. Really all the way until we got to the road crossing at Vizcaíno. We were having some issues where we were down about 10 mile an hour and 1,000 RPM with the car, and we were trying to diagnose it. We still haven't put our finger on exactly what was going on. We've got a few ideas, but until we can actually tear into the car, we don't know for sure what happened. From Vizcaíno to San Ignacio, that was the last 80 miles that I had to drive. And when we went through there, it was just amazing how much rougher the course had gotten from pre-running to racing. So the silt had gotten a lot deeper and all of the sand sections, the whoops were way bigger and the sand was really deep to where it was bogging the motor down. And we were having a lot of issues with the car overheating. So we had to really kind of limp the car through there, stop, let it cool off, add coolant to the car a few times, and I'd say we probably lost at least an hour or two through there. But we made it through, got to San Ignacio. That's where our scheduled driver change was. So that's where myself and Donnie got out, Jason and Nick got in, and it was up to them to take it to the finish. We spent probably another hour and a half or so working on the car there, trying to figure out the loss in power as well as what we could do to get it to run cooler and make sure that we made it the next 534 miles. So it was just a matter of let's try to finish and just do the best that we can. Baja has a way of doing that to a lot of teams. So we were doing that, working along, plugging away. They kept saying the car was working good, car's good. So most of our pits from that point for the next probably 300 miles or so, we're just gas and go. made it all the way through like Laredo, Insurgentes, and then we're on the home stretch. We had about 200 miles to go, and I had concerns that we weren't going to finish that point, but I was kind of starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. I thought, wow, we're really going to pull this off and at least get the car across the finish line. And I was following them on the tracker to make sure everything was going good, and we got about halfway to La Paz, and I noticed that they were not moving anymore. So we ended up getting a call from them on their sat phone, and turned out that the car had overheated, and basically either they'd blown a head gasket or blown a motor or something, cracked a head. Again, we're not totally sure until we disassemble this thing and take a look. So, you know, after it was all said and done, I think we'd been going about 35 to 37 hours at that point, and it was pretty disappointing. We had to go pull the car out with my pre-runner RZR and load it up on the trailer and head to La Paz and, you know, call it a race. Every time I get in the car, I've got a grin ear to ear, and you know, I guess I can't thank Polaris enough for making a vehicle like this and giving people like myself the opportunity to come out here and race these RZRs. So, you know, that's a wrap for this season. Next year, first race is going to be the Mint 400. Already looking forward to it. Probably start testing here in the next couple weeks, and you know, one of these days we're gonna put this thing on top of the podium, and I'm really looking forward to next year, because I think we're gonna definitely turn some heads and, you know, make a real strong run at winning races and trying to win a championship next year. So thank you to all you guys. Appreciate everyone following us, and you know, hopefully you enjoy everything we're doing and keep watching.